Most people pursue greatness backwards. They sacrifice sleep for productivity, health for achievement, and recovery for more work, believing that's what separates successful people from everyone else. But what if the very things they're sacrificing are the things that would help them achieve greatness in the first place? If you look closely at the people who sustain excellence for decades, you'll notice a pattern that seems to contradict everything you might have been shown or taught. The first question is, what is greatness? When I think of people I consider great, what qualities stand out the most? It always seems that it's their results, their achievements, what the world has been celebrating or applauding them for, the end goal, the trophy that they hold up. But it's always just that one moment, that one event, that one evening. Sometimes it's how they speak, maybe the honor that they have, the word that they keep. But 90% of the time it's that accomplishment, often tangible, often highly coveted. Somebody was able to achieve or accomplish or acquire that. That's what we're told greatness is. But then there's a dichotomy of viewing greatness as a destination, or is greatness to be viewed as a lifestyle path? What is more sustainable? Do I admire their achievements, their character, their discipline, or something else? Likely their results, something that they were able to achieve, stands out above all else. I rarely, if ever, think about the struggle unless I try and emulate something similar. The path they took, the challenges, the doubt they experienced. That's not what we view greatness as. It's always, most often in time, a destination. If I achieved all my goals but sacrificed my health, would I still consider that greatness? Probably not. Shifting my perspective on greatness being something that is sustainable, might not be flashy, might not be for everybody, but then that establishes my own definition of greatness. Something that I feel like is enough for me. No matter how others see it. Knowing that it's aligned with my values, what I determine to be great. That's an important transition, an important stage of acceptance. If I achieved success but felt miserable most days, would I consider that greatness? It would have to be something that is worth pursuing, worth being miserable for, knowing that suffering is guaranteed. What is worth suffering for? However, another perspective of greatness is having a love for the game. Not viewing it as a competition. Just enjoying the process, enjoying the struggle, enjoying the challenge, enjoying the quote-unquote suffering. And that's different than feeling miserable. Not saying that misery won't surface now and then, but being able to identify what what is worth suffering for, what still feels enjoyable, even if the path is challenging. What is something that I never want to retire from? Being able to find that, being able to maintain and sustain that, that's becoming the great life that I wish to keep or build. A great life can be simple. It doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be excessive, luxurious. Those can be some outcomes or results of depending on the pursuit you have, but how that time is spent pursuing something meaningful or valuable to you, doing it for as long as you can, since tomorrow is not guaranteed. Not an easy life. The strength to maintain a great one. That resonates. And then there's the appeal of obsession. Why do we admire visuals who sacrifice everything for a pursuit? What comes to mind for me is they've identified something that they value so much that they're able to let go of all distractions and stay on this linear path without being swayed or influenced off of that path. And there's something about that conviction that's worth admiring. Knowing that we all have things that we do on a regular basis that we can't think, what would life be without this? Could I actually let go of this to focus all my time, attention, and energy on something else, on a pursuit? And that thought of, is the result even gonna be worth it? Is it even guaranteed? Most times it is not. There's a risk. So being able to risk a large portion of your vitality for something that's uncertain. Some think it's courageous, others might think it's foolish. But deep down it shows us a mirror of something that we might want to do or something we are unwilling to do. What are some obsessions I had throughout my life? Which improved my life? Which damaged my life? Obsessions of being liked, fitting in, escape, numbing myself. I'd say the most recent obsessions that have improved my life are the obsessions of health, completely rebuilding my foundation of sleep, nourishment, exercise. It's allowed me to invest in things beyond the basics. Self-actualization, creation over consumption. Now I'm able to obsess over what I can add to this world instead of what I can take from it. Why do some people find it easier to obsess over a goal than face themselves? Over a goal, we'll say in this context, it's external. Because it's often tangible. It can be a form of escape. I'm going to obsess over fishing. I'm going to catch the biggest fish I can. that tangibility, that external reward is often easier than turning inwards, finding something internally, facing ourselves. Because it might be the case of, if I face myself, learn to accept myself, then a lot of external values and pursuits, they lose their value. When you find yourself to be enough, it can lead to a perspective shift of, why was I pursuing this in the first place? Was I doing it for the result, or did I enjoy the process, or did I want acceptance, or so facing yourself can often lead to uncomfortable truths that make you question everything you've been pursuing so far. And then there's going to be a lot of weight of regret of, why didn't I find out this sooner? It's too late. I wasted so much time. Instead of looking back, it's easier just to continue to pursue that external result, that external outcome. But a question will always rise, why are we doing it in the first place? I'm not here to say what is meaningful or what is valuable or what you should value. Just here to ponder, reflect on what greatness, what obsession, what balance, their relationship with each other. Now there's the myth of balance. Why do people often say balance is impossible? Likely because we fill our plate too much. We overcomplicate things. We don't like to keep things simple. The more you have on your plate, things carry different weight. It's constantly shifting back and forth. I don't know what I did there. I was imagining holding a plate, and then there's different things on the plate, weighing different amounts, and it keeps shifting. So it's hard to maintain balance because we keep overloading ourselves with this responsibility, this obligation, this task, this pursuit. Balance often comes from saying no, having less, living more simply, and being more aligned with your values. Balance may never be perfect, but being able to find what is sustainable is key. When I hear balance, what do I actually imagine? I imagine one who is able to continue their pursuits indefinitely, as long as they have their physical and mental health, and focusing on balance will help to support and maintain your physical and mental health. So, a life that's not too full, a life that's not too empty, a life that one views as enough for themselves. If something is removed, they can add something else. If something is added, they can remove something. Not to overwhelm ourselves, to keep things as simple as possible. Is balance equal distribution of time? Not necessarily. Certain things might not take a lot of time, but they can drain you. Some things that can take a lot of time might not drain you at all, but they will rejuvenate you. So having balance with identifying what absorbs or needs your energy and what restores your energy. Everybody's different. Everybody has different activities, values, hobbies, pursuits that absorb and restore. It does take some time to navigate which. Maybe kind of like Tetris comes to mind, stacking it, or maybe a pie chart. Finding that balance through trial and error until you land on something that is sustainable. It could be an equal distribution of time, but that might not always be the case. Or is balance simply supporting what matters most? There's validity in that. But what matters most, only you can determine. Because there will be points where society, people, even family, will instill their values, will instill what matters the most to them. And they will want you to view that as mattering, as that's what matters the most as well. And that's what should matter the most to you. But if it doesn't, that's going to be a source that drains you. So sometimes you have to disconnect, detach, spend time in solitude, and that is when you truly are able to identify what matters most to you, the individual path. Of course, it can benefit others, but if that main pursuit is not valuable to you, regret will likely follow. And why do people often view balance as weakness? Maybe because when one is balanced, they recognize what is enough. They don't care to overconsume. They don't care to have many wants, need to conquer things. And people often view strength as domination, wanting more, acquiring more, obtaining more, pursuing more. So when you have balance and you recognize you require less, people can view that as a weakness. But in another perspective, you can also view it as a strength. I do not require this. I'm able to let go of this need, this want. I have simple pleasures, simple tastes, things that are within my control, and it's something I can sustain. Therefore, you have less of a fear of losing, not having certain things, because you are more accepting of yourself and what is truly essential. And you care less for the pursuit of excess. The real question is, what am I ultimately trying to achieve? What kind of person am I becoming through this pursuit? My compass says I'm trying to achieve not having regret. What does that look like? So far, whenever I engage in creation, I never regret that time spent. Some of these pursuits, trying to exhaust my creative source. I've made melodies, working on a video game, working on this YouTube channel, my business. I guess I'm becoming someone who creates, or one with the creator of my soul through all these pursuits. Becoming less detached to consumption. That feels like what I'm ultimately trying to achieve. If my future success required sacrificing my health indefinitely, would I accept that trade? No. Health is one of those things that we take for granted until we do not have it. Being sick, runny nose, sore throat, having a cough, I'm in this for the long game, or as long as I can. And every day I want to be able to have that energy to invest in the things I want to. Therefore, being able to prioritize my health gives me that sustainability. Health is something that money can't buy back. It takes time, it takes being proactive, it takes routine, it takes a lifestyle. And feeling healthy is something that very rare that it's just so simple, but it's rare to feel. There's rare feelings as good as feeling healthy and knowing that you can sustainably pursue what you find most valuable to yourself. If I knew balance would help me reach my goals more slowly but more reliably, would I choose it? Yes, 10 out of 10 times. I'm not here for a sprint. I focus on consistency over intensity. There comes a point where if you try to pursue something too intensely, you can fully exhaust yourself. It can turn the perspective of viewing it as play into work. Then resistance can build. So through balance and maintaining balance, things can flow naturally. They can come with ease. I'm not fighting resistance, I'm dancing around it. And I'm able to maintain consistency. It's all about finding what works best for you. Living a great life. What do you do after you reach the top of the mountain? Was the path to get there, was that something that you valued? Because the top of the mountain might not be fulfilling for as long as we want it to be. If greatness is a destination and balance is the fuel that keeps you moving, why do so many people throw away the fuel while trying to reach the destination? If your aim is sustainability, balance becomes essential. If something resonated with you, consider leaving a comment below and sharing what felt most impactful. To support the channel, you can like, subscribe, and/or share this video with someone who you feel might also benefit. Additional ways to support the channel can be found in the links in the description below. You will also find a link to my website, cravingfreedom.com, where you can access my ebooks. On the website, you can also find descriptions of what to expect from the ebooks. And if you feel ready to commit to your path towards freedom and are seeking in-depth guidance and support, consider applying for one-on-one coaching. Answers to frequently asked questions can also be found on the website. Thank you for your time.